Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly who got paid when you learned to breathe through abuse and call it wisdom. The pitch was seductively simple. Calm down, focus up, be resilient. Translation: absorb more pressure without asking who's turning the valve. They sold you mindfulness, the trademarked HR compliant cousin of Dharma, because real Dharma would have asked for receipts, power maps, and repair. Mindfulness TM asked for none of that. It politely lowered your cortisol while your workload rose. It celebrated your presence while your calendar became a landfill. It framed your panic as a personal growth edge, while the dashboard that measures you smiled. This isn't an attack on awareness, it's an indictment of repackaging, a moral technology stripped of its politics, its vows, its community safeguards, and then weaponized as productivity perfume. You weren't taught to interrogate harm. You were taught to notice it non-judgmentally. You weren't trained to build governance. You were trained to return to the breath. Meanwhile, vendors harvested your attention, exhaust, attendance, streaks, biometrics, mood, clicks, and enterprise-friendly telemetry of your soul. Your calm became a KPI. Your nervous system became a dashboard widget. Ask yourself, who needed you calm? The meeting that should have been an apology. The company that renamed understaffing high impact culture. The manager who learned to say mindful before deadline. The app that nudged you at 9:03, 1:17, 7:41. 3 pings a day to teach your body that help is a subscription. You were told this was liberation. It was latency training. Reduce your time to comply. Warrior monks in hoodies came to the all hands, clicked play on a sound bath, told you your mind is the only thing you can control. Then they invoiced you for gratitude. If you want incense, wrong channel. If you want to see how your serenity was securitized, commodified, and sold back to you, pull up a chair. I'm not here to relax you. I'm here to end the subsidy. I'm Silent Flame. Classical Dharma is indecently concrete. Right speech that costs you popularity, right livelihood that costs you profit, vows that constrain your power, Sangha that witnesses your behavior, and governance that survives charisma. That stack is heavy. It puts friction on harm. Mindfulness, the rebrand, edited the stack. Out went vows, too religious. Out went lineage accountability, too complex. Out went livelihood audits, too political. What remained? A therapeutic micro skill. Pay attention to sensations, label them softly, let them pass. Useful in a clinic, perfect in a compliance economy. The strip down happened in steps. First, sever ethics from attention, teach observation as value neutral. Second, relocate suffering to the individual. Your stress is yours, not the product of policy, design, or debt. Third, package the cure as portable content. 10-minute tracks, animations with smiling lungs, streaks turning discipline into dopamine. Fourth, badge the product science-backed while quietly discarding the inconvenient half of the science. That context, sleep, money, time, power, determines whether practices heal or harm. A rebrand needs narrative. So mindfulness told a clean story. Ancient wisdom now optimized. The monks are friendly. The rooms are quiet. The lawsuits never appear. The sweatshop is off screen. The crisis becomes palette. Saffron and teal flutter across a UI where you, heroic you, will choose calm. Meanwhile, the workplace absorbs the credit. We care. we subsidize your app. The result is a civilization where trauma is privatized and relief is gamified, with the solemn assurance that questioning any of this would be judgmental. That word, judgmental, did more to disarm ethical discernment than any non-disclosure agreement. This is not an argument against simple practice. It's an argument against extraction masquerading as kindness. When attention loses its spine, it kneels to whatever pays the invoice. And invoices, unlike slogans, have names. Follow the money. Start with HR. A stressed workforce threatens churn, sick leave, union talk, and PR fires. Mindfulness promises measurable calm without structural change. Purchase order approved, workshops delivered, surveys show felt better after the session. Share the deck with leadership, frame it as risk mitigation and productivity enablement. Your relief became a slide. The budget that should have hired 2 people to reduce load bought a breath coach instead. Enter wellness vendors. They sell content libraries, meditation at your desk modules, manager toolkits, open every meeting with 3 mindful breaths, and platform analytics that instrument your composure. If usage drops, they upsell. If usage rises, they cite engagement. In both cases, someone gets a bonus. Meanwhile, you learn to clip your emotions into 5-minute intervals that respect calendar invites. Congratulations, you have been modulated. Next, consultants who code chaos in pastel decks. They replace hazard logs with mindful leadership, misconduct training with mindful conversations, burnout with energy management. They love the word resilience because it moves responsibility downstream. The factory remains the same. The river downstream learns to flow quieter. Add PR. We prioritize well-being. Photos. Mats in a glass atrium. No one asks whether the atrium cleaners get access to the program, whether the night shift got a class, whether the grievance channel works. The final click is data. Dashboards tracking attendance, sentiment, and sometimes biometrics via wearables, fine print. Your breath becomes a metric. Your evenings become nudges. Your exhaustion becomes a churn curve to be bent by content cadence. I'm not saying never breathe. I'm saying your breath acquired line items you never approved. When calm can be graphed, calm can be targeted. Who learned to breathe? You did. Who learned to profit when you did? We're only on Act 1. Apps came first with promises of pocket-sized peace. The product market fit was exquisite. Insomnia, anxiety, doom scrolling. Each is a growth engine when relief is microdosed, streaked, and socially signaled. The business model loves borderline relief. Enough comfort to return tomorrow, not enough transformation to exit the loop. Notifications train your limbic system like a slot machine that pays in exhales. Your mind becomes a daily active user. Platforms loved the genre because it is brand safe, ad friendly, and bingeable. Study with me for the soul. Breathe with me while pre rolls whisper consumer hymns. The algorithm encloses you in a calm garden whose walls are made of suggested videos and whose floor is quicksand. Monetization follows premium tiers, white label corporate deals, co-branded retreats with photo ops and soft non-disclosure vibes. Insurers entered with wellness discounts. Prove you breathe, walk, and sleep within parameters, and your premium dips. The flip side, your body becomes negotiable. Non-compliance becomes a pricing tier. The moral hazard is quiet but huge. Health becomes surveillance, wrapped in kindness. Then defense and carceral institutions, mindfulness for soldiers, mindfulness for prisons, reduce reactivity, increase compliance, soothe moral injury without asking who orders harm. I won't pretend there's no compassionate use in hard places. I will insist we name the arithmetic. Mindfulness, OTM, lowers heat inside systems whose outputs remain intact. When a practice can be used to rehabilitate both the guard and the gate, without changing the gate, you've discovered a technology of governability. None of this means the human who sleeps better tonight is wrong to be grateful. It means we now have receipts. Calm can be stacked on harm like a pretty tablecloth, and tablecloths make spills photogenic. Dharma's original kill switches were blunt vows. Don't harm, don't steal, don't exploit sex power, don't lie, don't intoxicate, livelihood, don't profit from harm, community, people who can see your life up close, repair, confession, restitution, consequence. Those make practice expensive in all the right ways. They slow down predators and glamour. They force a loop between intention and impact. Mindfulness, TM, the corporate lobby friendly cousin, kept the felt sense but dropped the teeth. You learned body scans. You did not learn budget scans. You practiced noting. You did not practice noticing who pays. You watched thoughts pass without learning to name power passing through rooms. You sat with feelings. You did not sit with the person harmed by your team's decision and take direction. You learned acceptance. You did not learn accountability. Community shrank to a cohort on a webinar with the chat disabled. Teachers became content personalities. Feedback became emojis. Sangha rituals of mutual witness, boring, unphotogenic anti charisma, were replaced by leave a review. The social technology that made awakening contagious was replaced by UX that makes subscriptions sticky. Then the word non judgmental, beautiful in trauma care, got universalized into a rule against discernment. Judging harm became unspiritual. This deletion wasn't random, it was product market fit. Teeth make you lose customers. Teeth make donors balk. Teeth make leadership uncomfortable. Teeth reveal that the true medicine is not a track, but a policy. That the true mantra is, we will fix what we break. That the true bell is a calendar reminder for the next boring meeting where grown-ups write guardrails so no one has to breathe through preventable pain. Brand teams adore mindfulness because it's nonpartisan sound. Chimes and breath loops are the muzak of modern spirituality. Nobody complains. Legal snores happily. CPMS glide. But niceness at scale breeds anesthesia. When every sharp edge is renamed reactivity, dissent sounds like a tantrum, and governance looks like rudeness. Harm reports get rebranded as stories. Boundaries are called walls. Exploitation is filed under misalignment. The brand safety aesthetic has a colorway: saffron, teal, cream, gentle gradients, slow pans, hands-on mugs. The copy has a gait, short sentences, second person, no nouns that bite. Stress, toxicity, overwhelm, never overtime, understaffing, salary freeze, retaliation, NDAS, union busting. The footage has rules: no confrontations, no paper trails, no fluorescent lights, no receipts. Return to the breath functions like a chapter break that ejects accountability from the script. In this climate, whistleblowers look unmindful. Survivors sound too intense. Organizers create division. Meanwhile, the quietest people in the room, those silenced by power, learn that the fastest way to be welcome is to be soothing. Please understand, I'm not against calm. I'm against calm as a filter that excludes the very voices that make compassion costly enough to count. Mindfulness can be courageous when it widens window of tolerance for truth. Mindfulness becomes brand safety when it narrows reality to a mood board. If your spirituality functions like a fragrance that masks rot, it's not spirituality. It's deodorant, lovely, marketable, lethal over time. If we were serious, mindfulness term would ship with nouns, not stress, but quota creep, manager churn, backlog math, not toxic culture, but missing grievance process, retaliation patterns, budget opacity. Honest mindfulness would refuse to be deployed without guardrails, an ethics charter, independent reporting lines, transparent money, published results that measure harm reduction beyond employee self-report. It would cost customers because customers often prefer comfort to change. It would also include scope, mindfulness for ICU nurses and for ICU schedulers, for engineers and for roadmaps, for content moderators and for policy teams, for soldiers and for command. It wouldn't be a scented towel offered to the front line while leadership keeps its spreadsheets holy. It would be a full stack intervention, attention training plus structural change or no deal, and it would come with off ramps. If an organization wants calm while refusing repair, honest teachers would withdraw services and publish why. Non judgmental would not mean non consequential. Contracts would contain minimum governance standards the buyer must meet to earn the right to call the program mindful. Finally, honest mindfulness would make boring heroes, admins who publish minutes, accountants who label funds correctly, managers who apologize with nouns, elders who rotate power. These people don't trend on reels, but they stop harm. If your program cannot name these metrics, it's not mindful, it's moodful. There's a place for mood. There is not a place for mood instead of justice. I am not here to steal your breath. I am here to return your teeth. Attention is holy when it refuses to launder harm. Calm is sacred when it escorts truth into the room, not out of it. The question isn't whether mindfulness helps, it's who profits when it helps you tolerate what should change. If the answer is a dashboard, a vendor, and a boss who learn to pronounce compassion like a brand value, congratulations, you've been rebranded. Here's the line I won't cross and the line I want you to draw. If your mindfulness program cannot survive nouns, overtime, retaliation, understaffing, pay equity, policy, power, then it is not meditation, it is management theatre. If your teacher cannot say no to a contract that forbids transparency, they are not a teacher, they are a service provider in saffron. And if your calm never becomes courage, your serenity is just a prettier name for surrender. I won't sell you relief from the very reality that needs you awake. Keep your attention, fierce, kind, unbribed. Keep your breath, steady enough to say the dangerous sentence and to hear the dangerous reply. Keep your compassion, sharp enough to cut the rope where someone is hanging, not just to compliment their grip. Return the trademark to the lobby. Take the Dharma back to the room where decisions are made. If your calm makes you cheaper to control, it's a sedative. If it makes you harder to buy, it's the path. Keep the breath. Bring the bill.